So let's begin. What is the state of Apple under Tim Cook? Not a lot of people know you that well, or know a lot about you. You've been behind the scenes at Apple for so long. How would you characterize it?
It's an absolute incredible time to be with Apple. And I'm loving every minute of it, and I think everybody in Apple is loving every minute of it too. You know, for years, and this will not change, Apple's been focused on innovation. And never have I seen the things I can't talk about today. The juices are flowing. And we have some incredible things coming out. And of course, the company and what we're doing today, the company's very healthy. We've had a few decent quarters. iPhone's doing great. You know, we just finished the first half of our year, and there's 70 million plus people out there more that have iPhones now, which is fantastic. iPad has been unbelievable, really. I mean, you know, at least in, you guys have been around for a while. We've all been around for a while. I've never seen a product and technology that consumers loved pretty instantly, and business loved, and education loved, and people of all ages loved. The iPad has just been unbelievable. It's been a knockout. And I think we're in the first inning on it. iPod introduced Apple to a whole bunch of people that didn't know Apple. And the Mac benefited from that. And so many, many people began to buy the Mac. But as it turns out, looking back, it introduced Apple to people in the developed world. And so the world opened all of a sudden. And now with iPad, iPad is doing well in a number of those markets. And so it's been pretty incredible as we've come out with new great stuff that the world has met Apple. I really believe, and I believe this from the beginning, this is not some revelation from the last week or so, that the tablet market would eventually surpass the PC market. And I think everybody kind of heard that in the beginning, kind of laughed that off and said, no way, you know, there were many naysayers and so forth out there. Today, I think there's a lot more believers in that.
Why isn't a tablet actually a PC? Why is there a distinction?
Well, in my view, that the tablet and the PC are different. And you can do things with the tablet if you're not encumbered by the legacy of the PC, if you view it as different. And so I love convergence, and I think convergence is great in many areas, but I think that products are about trade-offs, and you have to make tough decisions. You have to choose. And the fact is, the more you look at a tablet as a PC, the more the baggage from the past affects the product.
How is Apple different with you as the CEO so far? What did you learn from Steve as CEO, and how are you changing things?
I learned a lot from Steve, you know, and it was absolutely the saddest days of my life when he passed away. And maybe as much as you should see or predict that, I really didn't. And but at some point late last year, I sort of, somebody kind of shook me and said, it's time to get on. And so that sadness was replaced by this intense determination to continue the journey. And And that's where it is today. So what did I learn from him? I learned we could be here all night, and probably all week, and maybe a month. I learned that focus is key. Apple has a culture of excellence that is, I think, so unique and so special. You know, I'm not going to witness or permit the change of it. He also taught me that the joy is in the journey, and which is a revelation for me. And I think he taught all of us that life is fragile.
Assess the China situation, because you have many critics. You have many criticisms, not just fictional ones, but you have ones that are very valid criticism of what went on in China. How would you assess what you're changing to what the manufacturing practices there? Why isn't there an Apple factory in China, run by Apple, done by Apple?
Well, there's a lot of questions in there, so let me try to take those one by one a little bit. Why don't we do it? We decided over a decade ago that there were things that we could do better than anyone else, and those things we wanted to do ourselves. And then we looked at other things and said, you know, somebody else can do those better than we can or as good as we can, and we shouldn't put our effort into those. Manufacturing was one of those. The operational expertise and the engineering around it and the whole supply chain management stuff is all, Apple is doing all of that. But manufacturing itself, we looked at it and said, you know, somebody else can do this as good as we can.
And is that still true?
I think
you
it's
just
still true.
finished saying things do change,
I
right?
think it's still true.
You used to have factories, and you used to have at least one factory I can recall in the U.S., I think in Colorado somewhere. Do you ever see the possibility? I mean, you're a huge company. I would say you're certainly the most influential company in tech, and maybe the most or one of the most in any industry. And you're an operations expert.
Yep.
Things do change. There is some manufacturing revival in the U.S. Will there be an Apple product ever made again in the United States?
I want there to be.
So will it ever say on the back of an Apple product, designed in California, assembled in the United States?
It may. It may. And even though it doesn't say that today, you could put down there, several parts are from the United States. Of course, we're not
I can't put anything down there. You can put it down there.
That could be your signature, a lot of words.
There you go.
Simplicity. Yeah. Let's talk about the patent wars that go on.
Yeah.
Apple, Samsung, Google. Is that a problem for innovation?
Well, it's a pain in the ass.
Okay.
Is it a problem for innovation? I think it's, from our point of view, it's important that Apple not be the developer for the world. We can't take all of our energy and all of our care and finish the painting and have someone else put their name on it. What we want to accomplish is we just want people to invent their own stuff. And we don't want to be the developer for the world.
But there are people accusing you of ripping them off.
Oh, I'm sure
Right?
there are people accusing us of everything.
No, come on, Tim. I mean, you know this. This is all over the world in every court. It's not just like you're suing other people are suing you.
Oh, of course, yes. And when you look at those, the vast majority of those are on standards essential patents. And this is an area where the patent system is broken today. The issue is that this is an economic argument. It's not there should be no one should be able to get an injunction off a standards essential patent because the owner of the patent has the responsibility to license it on a fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory manner. And so when somebody comes to you and tries to get some obscene level of money from you for this, they're in essence telling you they're not going to license it because they want to go try to get an injunction and use the court system to do that. And in my view, use it in a way that it wasn't intended. What I'm saying, Walt, is that Apple has not sued anyone over standards essential patents that we own, because we view that it's fundamentally wrong to do that. This was never the intention of a standards essential patent. The intention was that some payment be made.
Yeah.
And you can always argue about the payment, and there has to be a forum for resolving those disputes. But the problem in this industry is if you add up what everybody says the standards essential patents are worth, no one else could be in the phone business. Competition would be locked out. And so it's kind of gotten crazy.
How are you looking to change television from what he was talking about initially?
Well, you know, we've, very uncharacteristic of us, we've stayed in the Apple TV product business, and we've continued. Our latest iteration of that just shipped 60 days ago or so. And we're not a hobby kind of company, as you know. Our tendency is to do very few things, put all of our wood behind a few arrows, and if something creeps in and isn't a big success, we get it out of the way and move on and put our energies on something else. Apple TV, though, you can see what we've done, and we've stuck in this. Now, it's not a fifth leg of the stool. It's not of the same market size of a phone business or the Mac business or the music business or the tablet business. It's not like that. But you know, last year we sold about a little less than 3 million Apple TVs, 2.8 million. This year, just in the first 6 months of our year, we've sold 2.7. And so we've kind of almost equaled last year. And of course, that was helped by bringing the Apple TV up to 1080p and supporting movies in the cloud and some other things. And you know, it's a key part of the ecosystem. And so this is an area of intense interest for us.
So you bought a company called Siri.
Yes.
Siri actually launched at this conference, and within a matter of months you bought them. So we take credit for that. But Siri is, and it's in your ads, at least at the moment, it's your principal way of selling the iPhone 4S, which, as you pointed out, has sold in large numbers. When it works...
New John Malkovich ad?
John Malkovich,
Freaking
Samuel L.
John.
Jackson, you know, whatever. When it works... I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
When it works really well. It's kind of like magic. But a lot of times, it actually doesn't work. And that's not what a lot of people have come to think about Apple products. It says, I can't help you with this at this moment, or misunderstands you, or it gets the thing wrong. And it's a beta.
Yeah. You know,
So what's going on with that?
Well-
Is that product up to your standards? And
customers love it.
customers
First of all,
love it.
customers love it. It's one of the most popular features of iPhone 4S, which is our the most popular selling phone in the world, I guess. But there's more that it can do, and we have a lot of people working on this, and I think you'll be really pleased with some of the things that you'll see over the coming months on this, where the breadth that you're talking about, we've got some cool ideas about what Siri can do. And, you know, Siri as a feature is it has moved into the mainstream. People hear the word Siri and they know what you're talking about. It's amazing that this has happened since just October of last year, not very long ago. And so I think you're going to be really happy with where it's going.
So
Really we're doubling down on it.
I asked this question of Steve in the last interview about what he does all day.
Yeah.
And he gave a fantastic answer. I have two questions actually. One is, what do you do all day? What do you see your role at Apple as, on a daily basis? And then secondly, do you consider yourself a visionary? I mean, that was sort of stuck onto Steve's name, visionary leader.
Yeah, Steve was a genius and a visionary, and I've never really viewed that my role was to replace him. I think he's an irreplaceable person. That Steve was an original, and I don't think there's another one of those being made. And so I've never really viewed or felt the weight of trying to be Steve. It's not who I am, and it's not my goal in life. I am who I am, and I'm focused on that, and being a great CEO of Apple. And it's incredible every day to work with what I consider to be the smartest and most innovative people on earth. And so I spend my day working with those people on many different things, some things we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about maybe, and many things that go with running a company of Apple's size and in all the geographies that we're in and so forth. And I love every minute of it. It's an incredible place to be. It gives me, it is my oxygen. So that's how strongly I feel about it.